people that God has called to the ministry that they're fighting it, and they'll leave, or they just keep staying home, and because they think that they can outmaneuver God.
Right.
But it's getting to the point now where God is going to start waking folk up in the middle of the night and not letting them go back to sleep and have them tossing and turning all night long until they say yes. Amen. Because there's a certain work, there's a work that God has to be done, and He's got to use people to do it.
Amen.
Amen. He's called people to this ministry to do a work. And it seems like they don't want to do what they're supposed to be doing. They rather just sit back and I'm just saving. And I pay my tithes and I give my offering, but don't bother me with all that other stuff. But it's getting to the point now where God is getting ready to start shaking folks.
Jesus.
Start shaking them in the middle of the night and talking to them. You be trying to sleep, He be talking to you. You be trying to watch TV, He be study talking because He wants you to hear what He's saying.
Yeah.
You have to understand, you weren't just born to be born.
Amen.
You didn't just get saved to get saved.
Amen.
You got saved for a reason.
Yes.
Amen. And the Lord was talking to me about this early. Well, I think I got up about 4:30 this morning. About 4 o'clock I got up and went in there and started talking to the Lord. And it's the funniest thing. I was looking at all these videos of preachers, well, a couple of them that I like to listen to. And then I seen this segment on this bodybuilder. I'm talking about this joker is huge. I'm like, good God, man, how in the world? Well, why you want to be that big like that? But the Lord said, keep watching and listen to what He said. And as He talked, He started saying, when I first started this, they told me I couldn't do it. They kept telling me, you ain't gonna never get to the point where you can be Mr. Universe, and that's who he is now.
Oh, wow.
I'm talking about, man, good God Almighty.
Wow.
And he started talking about how God prepared him for what he's doing now. He talking about my spiritual life is so much better because I allowed God to do what He had called me to do. Because God don't call everybody to preach.
Yeah.
He don't call everybody to teach.
Right.
He don't call everybody to teach Sunday school, do Bible class, all that. He called us for all different kinds of things. And God calls some people to be bodybuilders.
Amen.
Amen. And this young man, he's powerful. And he started talking about you. He said you have to be right in your mind, your body, and your spirit. And the Lord said, but it takes courage to do it. I said, courage? He said, yeah, it takes courage to do it. I said, what do you mean? He said, it took courage for you to already be living in Georgia where you didn't have no family yet. It took courage to live there. And then it took courage for you to leave Georgia and just on my word drive all the way to San Diego by yourself. Didn't know anybody. He said that took courage. He said, but you got to understand, I have to move you from point A to point B because I know where I want to use you at next. Amen. God He's letting me know that the people that He sent to this ministry, I'm glad you walked in when you did. The people that He sent into this ministry now going to be shakers and movers.
Hallelujah.
We're gonna. What He's going to do with the people in this church is He's going to revive holiness.
My God, thank you.
Glory.
But you got to have courage.
Yes.
Because everybody want to be accepted by everybody. You want everybody to be your friend, but somebody got to have enough courage to say, I live for Jesus and Jesus only. Amen.
Yes.
I ain't got time for, like my wife said, a whole bunch of foolishness.
That's right. That's right.
But in order for God to do this, you have to accept what He calls you to do.
Amen.
Once you accept what God calls you to do, then He wants you to start studying what He called you to do. If you're a preacher, He wants you to start reading stuff about preaching. If you're a prophet, you blew my mind. He wants you to start reading about prophets. Remember we were sitting here today and you were talking about? I'm saying, he don't even know it. He's talking about a Bible class. Because when you find out what your purpose is, you better hear me. When you find out, listen, when a man finds out he likes auto mechanic he wants to be an auto mechanic, he go get in school. And when they put him in school, they teach him everything he needs to know to be an auto mechanic. So when he come out, he can get a job. He can be an A1 mechanic. When he leaves, he has a whole toolbox full of tools. I'm ready to do my job. God wants us to be the same way. He wants to take us. How you want me to say this, Lord? He wants to take us to his university.
Right.
That's what he wants to do. He wants to take you to his university, and he wants to teach you the way you should be taught.
Wow.
He wants to teach you the way they used to teach us when we were children.
Thank you.
True holiness.
Thank you.
Now we know we have the young people, and they like the new gospel music and everything like that right now. And we know we got to let them celebrate that way, but we also got to sit them down and teach them true holiness.
That's right.
We got to teach them how to live saved after they leave the concert.
Yeah.
After they leave the church service, after they get off work. But see, we got to be the living examples for them to even do what we're trying to get them to do.
Amen.
So tonight the Lord told me, he said, he said, this is what I want you to do. This is still learning to lead. Amen. He wants me to talk tonight about courage to perform purpose. Courage to perform purpose. Because the devil will tell you all day long, you ain't anointed to do that. He'll tell you. He'll tell you all day long, no, you ain't saved. No, you're not a prophet. How you gonna be a preacher with the past that you got?
Come on.
How you gonna be a prophet and all the stuff you've done? How you gonna be a pastor with all that foolishness you used to do? But see, you gotta remember, you weren't just born to be born.
That's right.
You were born with a purpose. Amen. I look at all the young men and young women that are in prison. You know how many bishops and apostles, evangelists and elders and ministers and deacons that are in prison right now?
Yeah.
They allowed themselves to be tricked up by the enemy.
Yes, Lord. Hallelujah.
And he locked them away.
Yes.
But see, what's going on now is the enemy is finding out, even though they're locked up, they're not locked out.
That's right.
They're in prison ministry.
Amen.
And they're on fire for God.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing I want to happen is for Aaron. What's your son's name, Simon?
Kedrick.
Kedrick and Aaron to get out of jail and come here and be more on fire than I am.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
He coming.
Because God is getting ready to start sending folk from the jailhouse,
Amen.
Hallelujah.
from the prostitute stroke, folk that were drug dealers,
Jesus.
thieves,
Jesus.
alcoholics. See, one thing about this, I know me for myself. When the Lord saved me, I was so glad. I was just glad to be saved. I'll do anything you want me to do. I'm saved. And this is the way these people are going to be when they come off the street, but they're going to have to be taught true holiness.
Amen.
Because they don't really know nothing about God. You'd be surprised how many people walking around out here right now, they don't know. And here we are. They've been in church all of our life, most of us.
Yeah.
And folk can't even tell we saved, really.
Come on.
My God.
Because this messed me up today. My wife and I, after we left here, we went to Church's Chicken. And this Hispanic guy came. I think that was his mom. There was Samoans. That was his mom and his dad with him, I think.
Yes.
And his grandmother, his grandfather. And they came in with him. And I noticed his shirt. He said, God, the God of everything. I looked at his shirt. I said, man, that's a nice shirt. You know what he did? Just start speaking in tongues. I said, Lord, have mercy. I said, now you know he's saved. You see what I'm saying? We have to represent Jesus Christ.
Amen.
We have to let people know that we are saved. We are sanctified. We are Holy Ghost filled. And they used to say back in the day, fire baptized. We have to let people know this. But how are we going to let them know everywhere we go we won't open our mouth? Because we don't believe that we have purpose. Or we don't have the courage to walk in our purpose. So the Lord told me, he said, I want you to talk to me about courage to perform purpose. I said, okay. I said, okay. I said, okay. The Lord said, don't you remember when you were a little boy? He said, I used to bless you to write your own Easter speeches, everything. I could sit down with a piece of paper and write stuff. And remember the whole thing in the Easter program the next day.
Amen.
Still can do it now. I can write my wife. He said, you got it, huh? Mm-hmm.
Amen.
But we have to understand, God created us with purpose built in us. I said, okay, Jesus. I said, well, since you're saying that, you give me the scriptures, and I'll bring them out to the saints. He said, okay, the first one I want you to use is Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. While you're finding that, this is what he said. He said, with God's protection and guidance, we should be able to conquer fear and live a life full of courage. It is God who commands us to have courage. For having courage means having faith and confidence in him. That's what courage is, having faith and confidence in God. How many times has somebody told you that you couldn't do something and you ended up doing it anyway?
Amen.
Then they be talking about, wow, how you do that? When I was living in New Jersey, I used to deliver hospital medical equipment. And they bought these new Sprinter vans, them long vans. And my boss came outside one day. He said, I want all y'all to set up your van so you can, so you can have stuff in the van so you don't have to come all the way back out here to get stuff when you're on call, then go all the way to New York. I went home and laid across the bed. I said, Lord, I need you to show me how to set this van up. And I was laying there, and the Lord showed me exactly how to do it. I went outside, set that van up, and when I went to work the next morning to open that van, my boss walked by. He said, whoa, who showed you how to do this? I said, the Lord showed me. He started laughing.
Yeah.
I said, the Lord showed me. I was laying across the bed. He started laughing. I'm like, whatever, He said, but all y'all come here and look. I want y'all van just like this.
Wow.
All you have to do is, God, listen, if you don't know what your purpose is, ask God. Lord, what is my purpose? Me and my wife used to listen to this song, What is My Purpose, by the Williams brothers. Y'all ever heard that? It's a beautiful song. You need to listen to it. It'll have you crying because it makes you start thinking about what your purpose is. Even with the people that we have in Bible class right now, even with the people that we have in the Bible class right now, standing up here, if you're not rooted and grounded in God, you'll start doubting your purpose. Because one week, you got a whole bunch of people.
Right.
Then the next week, they start falling off. Then the ones that you have, they decide they ain't coming to church.
My God.
And if you don't really know what God has called you to do, you'll say, you know what? Maybe I'm not called to do this. And once Satan gets that in your mind, it triggers fear.
Yeah.
And fear is false evidence appearing real. You have to understand, because the only thing he got to do is plant that seed embedded in your mind.
That's right, man.
I'm not called to do this.
Amen.
Before you know it, everywhere you go, you'll be thinking that I'm not called to do this. I'm not called to do this. It's just like you said when you went with Adam Saturday, and they were calling him a pastor prophet. Come on up here and sit down, and he wouldn't go. You see what I'm saying? It's because there's a barrage of attacks from the enemy. You see what I'm saying? All the stuff you done just went through, and now they want to call you pastor prophet. Yes,
What
honey.
did you say? Fear was false evidence
Of appearing real.
Appearing real.
But that's not spelling.
Yes, that's spelling fear. False evidence appearing real.
Okay.
Does this sound right?
The other piece sounded better.
Does the piece sound better? Here, we'll fix this one. I just used that mic right here for right now. Amen. But listen, you have to understand the main reason why Satan will The main reason why Satan will attack you because you're anointed is because he knows your call.
Amen.
Wow.
He knows your call. And he want to do everything he can to make you, what's the word I'm looking for? Abandon the call. Let's say that. He wants to make you abandon that call, because if he can make you abandon that call, there's certain people that need to hear from you that will never hear from you.
Right.
Right. Amen.
If he can get you to doubt that you're called to sing, preach, prophesy, teach, whatever it is, if he can get you to walk away from it, there's a sect of people that ain't gonna never get saved.
Yeah.
Because only you can minister to it.
Yes, hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You have to understand, God called us for a purpose. So I said, Lord, where would you have me to come from? He said, Jeremiah. He said, Jeremiah, the first chapter. There you go. Amen. That's better. Jeremiah, the first chapter and the 5th verse. Amen. I want to take my time with this because I want you to understand something. Let me say this. Sister Story.
Yes, son.
The enemy just knew with what you just went through, you were going to walk away.
Yeah.
He just knew. He had. He said, I got him. He said, I got him. Because the first thing a person says that's saved, and know they saved for real, when something like that happens, God, why you allow that to happen to me? You see? Why you allow that to happen? Because what Satan wants to do, he wants to take that and infiltrate your mind with doubt that, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be saved. Maybe I'm not a minister. You see? If he can get you thinking along them terms right there, he's accomplished his mission. But Jeremiah 1:5 says this. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Now this was when Jeremiah was telling the Lord, he said, I'm too young, I'm too young to be doing that stuff. No, you want me to go prophesy to people that are way older than me, they're going to be telling me, I don't know. You don't know what you're talking about. You ain't lived long enough. Amen?
Amen.
This is the same reason why Paul had to get up under Timothy the way he did. Because Timothy had doubts. He said, I'm a young guy. And these elders, they are old. And he told her, he said, listen, I knew your mother and your grandmother, and their faith was unfeigned, and I see the same thing in you. He said, and I laid hands on you and called you forth.
My God.
So he said, do the work of an evangelist.
My God. Wow.
At one time or another in your Christian walk, somebody laid hands on you.
Yeah.
Somebody laid hands on you and called that gift forth. And when they called that gift forth, the enemy started battling you there. Some of us, the Lord called us forth when we were little kids. So my grandmother told me one Sunday in church, she said, Brother Joey, she said, the Lord said if you would give your life to him right now, I was about 13, said he'll bless you. So I see you with a White House with a picket fence around it, a sports car in the driveway, a pretty little wife, and I see you in the ministry, and I see God just blessing you. And the first thing the enemy said to me, you too young for that. And that's the first thing I thought. Look at all your cousins, they cross town, they be partying and everything. You don't ever get a chance to do nothing. So right then, but since I didn't know it was the enemy, I started listening to what he was saying and start rebelling. You see what I'm saying? Because what he wants you to do is turn away from God. That's why when Cynthia got up and said what she said, I said, God, you just good. Because we have to understand, whether you want to believe it or not, you are called.
Amen.
You have purpose.
Amen.
But see, you can tell somebody that's not called because they run into it.
Wow.
You can tell when they're not called because they were, oh yeah, I'm a bishop. Because don't you know God created people just to clean that bathroom.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah. Wow.
So just have to.
He did. He called some people just to keep the church straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to vacuum the floor.
That's right. Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Take care of God.
Just to usher.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're right.
Just to usher. I had too cold. Just to usher. He called them. Just, some to be deacons. Doorkeeper in the house of
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
He called. See, they think because it's small, it's not powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
It takes a certain anointing to deal with God's people.
Amen. Yeah. Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Jesus. Yeah.
It takes a certain anointing to deal with God's people when they first come in the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen. To greet them.
Yeah, you got to be a greeter on the door. You got to have a certain anointing.
That's
Come on.
right. That's right.
Because you got people coming in there, they done stayed out all night
What
long.
you say?
They done just got out of somebody's bed.
It's
Yeah.
the truth.
You got some people that just come to church, they just full of the devil.
Full of it.
Yep.
You got some people that come to church just to cause confusion.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You got some people that come to church won't pay tithes, but they got an opinion about everything that happens in the house of God.
Exactly. Amen.
Got an opinion about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we ought to do it like that. Well, I think you need to be paying some tithes.
That's what I think too.
Because listen, one thing about God, He didn't give you a choice of what your calling was.
Sure did.
He created you with a purpose.
Amen.
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 He said, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's belly. Said, before you came out the womb, I anointed you a prophet to the nation. Now, what would you do if God spoke something to you on them lines and you know it's God talking? See, he had to know it was God back then because there wasn't no TVs and radios and all that stuff.
Right.
Nothing to make you have a misconception. Well, none of that.
That's right.
He didn't have a choice but to hear God. Now, people, they will accept their purpose and their calling if they don't have to go through nothing.
Yeah.
If I ain't got to go through nothing, no trial and tribulation, I take it.
My God.
But you know the funny thing? You got people these days, they've been running after titles so long. And then they get the titles and they still ain't doing nothing. Still ain't doing nothing. Yes, sir.
I'm not elaborating, but I just think it's hilarious that everything that you spoke about from beginning to end, that's just been in the air today. I mean, from front to back. Because I'm sitting here like where you were fly on the wall in my thoughts today. Even up to the point of hearing from God, a lot of times it's just cool to just turn off your TV and just kind of dwell that way. I don't actually watch a lot of TV. I have a few select shows, but so you know it's the Lord speaking.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Yes, sir.
One other thing you also said, Pastor, was they don't want to go through nothing.
No.
They want the title.
Mhm.
But see, along with the title, they want the benefits of everything.
Exactly.
What
Exactly.
you go through,
Mm-hmm.
through certain things, 'cause
Uh-huh.
there's always a going through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, higher elevation, more you go through type of thing. But they want the benefits
Mm-hmm.
from God of the elevation that they have.
Right.
You know, of the position.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a bishop, well, you know, you're honored. If people kind of know who you are, you're honored with all kinds of stuff everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes something to become a bishop.
Yeah.
To be called to that.
Yeah. It takes something to that to be called to that.
It's the honor.
Yes, that right,
Again, just
Mm-hmm.
flying the ball.
Mhm.
right. Being honored,
It's the honor.
feared.
Mm-hmm.
For pastor to outwardly acknowledge, I have a whole church that can preach.
Right.
Well, then everyone, of course, feels good about that because you're getting the acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
But if the other part of it's not happening at home with the acknowledgement,
Mm-hmm.
So it's the
You got to understand. That's good, son. You got to understand this. Before, let's use Hillary Clinton for example. Before she got to where she is now, she had to go through some stuff.
Yes, you did.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you think after all you done been through before this, and you still want to run and be president?
Yeah.
After the woman done set your husband up and put the dress in a bag and wrapped it up and sent it to her mother, said, hold this. So when I need this, you can bring it out. Monica Lewinsky. Instead, but in spite of all that, she know what her purpose is.
Amen.
And she got the courage to go forth and do what God's called her to do. And then she